A recent report by the ACLU called on Florida officials to address the alarmingly high rate at which black motorists are pulled over by the police in Palm Beach County for not wearing seatbelts. Welcome to our 7th Criminal Defense Google Hangout. In today's Hangout, we'll again be talking with West Palm Beach Defense Attorney Andrew D. Stine about this problem, why it happens so often, and what's really at the root of these actions by the local police. My name is Steve, and I'll be your host today. Hi, Andy. How are you doing today?
Hi, Steve. I'm doing fine, thank you.
Excellent. You know, Andy, I just read a blog you wrote about these traffic stops, so I thought it would be important and timely to talk about this subject, considering how often we hear about policing and race in the national news. Tell us a little bit about these traffic stops, the comparison to how many white motorists are pulled over, and why you feel that they're not being done with motorist safety in mind.
Yeah, Steve, the ACLU came out with a report that 3-to-1 ratio of black motorists being pulled over by the Palm Beach County sheriffs as opposed to white motorists. The reason for the stop is not wearing a seatbelt. Under Florida law, it's illegal to operate a motor vehicle without a seatbelt unless if you have a certificate from a doctor, basically a prescription that requires you not to wear it, or you have a vehicle that doesn't mandate it. However, law enforcement doesn't know that, so they stop individuals without a seatbelt. But the ACLU report shows that 3 times the amount of motorists who are black are stopped when compared to white motorists. And that's a very alarming trend because the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office and other law enforcement are not stopping motorists because they're concerned for their safety. There's other reasons behind that.
So what's really at the root of these traffic stops, and how and why our Palm Beach County sheriffs are able to take advantage of the law?
Well, what's really at root is they want to find out, one, who's driving the vehicle, because even though they're scanning the license plates and finding out who owns the vehicle, they don't know who the driver is. So it gives them a lawful reason to stop the driver. Secondly, when they stop the vehicle, the driver is mandated to give them 3 things: a driver's license, a registration card, and an insurance card. That's mandated by law. In order to do that, the driver has to roll down their window. When the driver rolls down their window and hands that information, which I call pedigree information, to law enforcement then is able to observe, 1, who the driver is, 2, what's inside of the vehicle, 3, any odors coming from the driver and or the vehicle, including the smell of burning marijuana and or alcoholic beverage coming from the driver's breath. So it's an inroad or a way to get inside of the compartment of the vehicle and to examine the driver and to examine the driver's behaviors subjectively, including the smell for alcohol and or burning marijuana, Steve.
Now, is it true that at times the police will report that they smell alcohol, marijuana, and what have you, just to make an arrest, or is that not part of the problem?
Well, I have been told by many clients that they were stopped by law enforcement officers for not wearing a seatbelt. Law enforcement allegedly said they smelt burning marijuana. They basically had the driver and occupants get out of the vehicle, toss the vehicle, meaning search the vehicle, and find no marijuana. But in the process, they find something else that may be illegal. Sometimes a gun, firearm, sometimes other illegal drugs like pills or cocaine, which obviously you can't smell but is packaged, and maybe in the seat compartment, underneath the seat, in the armrest, in those locations. So it's a way for law enforcement to get around the Fourth Amendment requirement by saying that in their police report they smelt burning marijuana. Therefore, they had reasonable suspicion, probable cause, to stop the motorist because of the seatbelt, and then to search the vehicle. And then when they searched the vehicle, they found the alleged contraband, and/or Another reason to stop a motorist is to see whether or not they have a valid driver's license. Because if they stop the motorist and they don't have a valid driver's license, whether it's been suspended, expired, or otherwise, they then have the right to get them out of the vehicle also, and then they have a right to do a search of the vehicle if they say that they smelt burning marijuana and or alcohol coming from the compartment of the vehicle or from the driver's person and or breath.
So if a black driver is pulled over for not wearing their seatbelt, what should they do and what shouldn't they do to remain safe and avoid the worst possible outcome?
If any driver is pulled over for not wearing a seatbelt in Palm Beach County, they should provide the officer calmly with the pedigree information, the driver's license, the registration, and the insurance card. I would suggest that they not give the officer any type of attitude or be disrespectful, to stay in the car, do not get out of the car, do not make any movements inside of the compartment of the car that, you know, would resemble quick movements, quick actions, to not, you know, concern the officer, so that the officer does not draw a weapon, and so that no type of injury ensues for not only the driver but the officer. I would also tell the driver and or the occupants never to give the officer consent to search the vehicle. Sometimes the officer will ask, "May I search your vehicle?" Say no. If the officer searches the vehicle against the consent, there is no reason to try to stop them. Just go ahead and let the officer search the vehicle, because you don't want to put yourself in jeopardy of being injured or the officer being injured, and then you can take care of the matter with a motion to suppress for an illegal search and seizure of the evidence and or contraband if it is found later on through the court of law.
I think that's good advice. So if you've been charged with any crime in Palm Beach County, please call criminal defense lawyer Andrew D. Stine at 561-880-4300 or visit the firm at www.andrewdstine.com. Thanks again for sharing your experience and knowledge with our audience, Andy. I want to thank everybody for participating, and look forward to our next hangout when we'll talk about more important criminal defense topics. Remember, call Stine or do the time.
Thank you, Steve.
Be well.